Today, my friends, I have for you the ultimate Queen Charge guide for 2020. This guide ranges from Town Hall 9 all the way to Town Hall 13. So if you're between those Town Hall levels, you're going to be completely fine. Also, we're going to be going over stuff from, info about the Queen all the way to how you guys can actually use a charge. And also, we're going to teach you guys how to not use it. So we're going to show you guys an example of a Queen Charge gone wrong, and also 3 strategies that you guys can use with a Queen Charge. So that's right, guys, we are going to be going over Queen Charge, and we're going to be first talking about the Queen Walk, or not really Queen Walk, but we're going to talk about the Archer Queen herself. We're going to start off with her attack range. So her attack range is only 5 tiles. So you'll see that once I place down the Archer Queen here, then I drop in those healers. You can see that, yes, she can reach over those walls. She can reach the gold storage, really anything within this compartment here. But you'll see that she can't reach the wizard tower, bomb tower. She can't reach any of those things unless she charges in. So that is going to be the only thing that she cannot do there. However, I go ahead and play this again, and we look at this bottom section. We drop the Queen here, and we drop in those healers as well. We're going to let her sort of clear out those buildings. And you'll see that she's going to be able to target the elixir collector here. But on top of this, she can actually hit the mortar and the cannon. So just keep that in mind. Remember that her sight range or hit range is 5 tiles. Meaning that if there's something like this, there's a wall and then a structure, which is 3 tiles. So that's 4 tiles. And then this is going to be that 5th tile there, basically. So, now what that gives you guys is just that solid look into using, basically, the Queen. Now, one last thing is talking about her sight range. Considering that her sight range is going to be 9 tiles from last I researched, the biggest thing that you need to do is you need to place her like maybe right here. Let's place her right here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to place her in that correct area. See if I can get it right. So basically what we're going to see is that she can reach buildings like this and also this right here. She can reach those buildings very, very easily. Now, of course, that may be 9 tiles, give or take, but just know that her sight range is 9 tiles. So you got to make sure that you are making quite a bit of a funnel, so that then you can actually really get the most out of your Queen. So, with that being said, now we're going to go ahead and move on into showing you guys how to Queen Walk. So, Queen Walking is a very simple thing to do. So, all we want to do is, let's say for instance, we want to go into this section here. So, we want to basically work our Queen down here and then get her into the base here. We're not doing one long charge. Instead, what we're doing is we're just allowing her to create one side of the funnel. So, of course, we're doing all of this in the practice mode, so then it's a little bit easier for me to show you guys and replicate this over and over. But the idea is, what we want to do is make sure that we are dropping our Queen in. Now, one small thing I want to mention is, if I drop in the King and the Queen, and then I drop in the healers, you'll see that they go right to the King. Don't do this. Don't make it where, drop in the King close to the Queen and then drop in your healers. The King will steal your healers if the Queen doesn't start taking damage. That's the idea. Then they'll move. So you can see here, she's starting to take damage, but they're not moving away from the King. So that was just one little thing I wanted to mention, because I didn't really want to sort of, go off and saying, this is how you do a perfect one. That's definitely something that I've seen some people do, and that's the reason why some people get a failed attack. Or attack, I'm sorry. So, you'll see from here, is we're going to drop in a wizard because of the corner laboratory. And then we're going to drop in the King up here because the wizard's going to drop down. We're going to drop in the Queen right here. So you'll see what's going on right here. We're not dropping in the healers yet. The King's already tanking for us long enough. Pop the King's ability there to continue to focus that direction. once she starts taking damage, so you can see that she's not taking damage yet. Once she starts taking damage, then we drop in our healers. Very simple, right? Use a wizard right there. Make sure that she does not move over into that direction, which is completely enough, so you got to make sure that you're doing that. Now, I do not have a wizard for the other side, so we're going to rage up our queen because she is going to be going in range of that. We're going to drop in our golems, drop in a couple witches here, and then we're going to drop in our quad quake, and we're going to drop in our jump, and that's going to get us right into the base with the witches. So you can kind of see what I mean. If we're breaking into that part of the base using the golems and the witches, then that's how we want to do it. We want to make sure that we're charging our queen into the base with the rest of the attack. So that's really how you do a queen walk. Very, very simple, right? So now I want to teach you guys the basis of doing a charge now. Knowing how to do a queen walk, you should now be able to learn how you guys can do a charge. It's very, very similar, except you're charging your queen in earlier than you would with an attack like this. So when you're doing a queen charge, remember, a queen charge is a shortened walk. So you'll see me just drawing on the screen here. Let's say we want to go for the enemy queen and this air defense. So what we want to do is we want to do a walk right here. This is all we want to do. We're not doing a long walk. We're going to use the king down here to create the funnel. That's going to close off that area. Now, this archer tower right here should lock onto the queen, meaning that we'll be able to drop a wizard here and clear this section. Now, we can always do this vice versa too. So we can actually drop a wizard right here, so that then that creates that side of the funnel, and then dropping in the king up top and moving his way down this way. That's what those are going to be those simple things that we need to sort of think about. But we're not doing a long walk is basically what I'm saying. Now, there are 3 different ways of charging your queen into the base. The easiest one being spells. The next easiest one probably is going to be the wall breakers, which they are still pretty difficult to understand, but we're going to talk about them. And then the last one is the siege machines. Now, those ones are going to be your last resort. Most of the time, it's going to be a wall wrecker. So just saying, don't expect a stone slammer, a battle blimp, or a siege barrack really to, open up a wall or anything, because most of the time, they're not going to be able to, especially a stone slammer, since you got to get timing right on that. Now, let's watch how I would do a queen charge here. So, we're going for the queen and an air defense. So what we want to do, drop in the queen right here, drop in a wizard. Even if it gets taken out, we're just creating the funnel here. We're not placing down our healers just yet, but we're going to drop in the king right here, wizard here. You can see what I'm doing. Pretty simple stuff. Now we're going to drop in this. We're going to drop in a jump. Oh, we're going to drop in that jump. Now, I don't think the wizard's created enough of a funnel there. I'm kind of hoping that the queen moves in. Okay, she does. All you gotta do is make sure that you're like hoping that the queen moves in. So you'll see that what I'm talking about here. So our queen now has access to the enemy queen, enemy CC if there is one, and then also the air defense. Now it looks like she's gonna probably move down, so we'll most likely have to use the quad quake. So basically you'll see that we really can't save we don't have a rage or anything, so we are going to have to pop the queen's ability there. But you'll see that what I mean in terms of charging. I could have done a better job in creating the funnel, but you'll still see here, we get an air defense, we get the enemy queen, we probably take out the enemy CC too, all that good stuff. So, that's really a simple thing on charge. I could have set the funnel a little bit better, but, it all goes down like that. Now, another way of doing this is using a quad quake. I didn't use the quad quake for a reason. So, we're going to do the same thing, probably with a better funnel this time. We're going to drop in the king up here, and then we're going to drop in a wizard just to take care of this. We're going to have the wizard go with the king. So you'll see that what we're doing now is we're still waiting, but we're going to drop in our quad quake right here. That way it's going to open up that side of the base, pop the king's ability, and you can see that now we still have access to the queen. We still have access to the air defenses as well. So now you'll see that she's going to move over into the air defense compartment. We don't have to rage up the queen up until around here. Poison her up a little bit. Make sure that she doesn't get taken out. We're going to have to probably pop her ability just to be safe. But you can see we got some value from there. Even though it may not be much, we still get some value, and boom. That is really a very simple way of just charging in. Notice how we're not doing a long charge. It was a really short thing, making sure that we have enough rage spells. Of course, like you see here, we only have one. It's because we're bringing in a jump too. So if I didn't have the jump, I would probably have another rage. But other than that, super simple stuff. You guys get what I mean when charging with spells. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on into the next way to charge, which is using wall breakers. Alright guys, so now we see that we have some wall breakers here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to show you guys how to break in with wall breakers. So, the biggest thing here is, again, making sure that we create a funnel. So we don't have wizards, but we have baby dragons here. So we're going to make sure the king goes down, drop in the queen, and we're going to wait until she takes some damage. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do one test wall breaker. This is going to allow ourselves to break into the base. So you'll see right here, do a couple more. Boom, they open the wall. Now you can just drop in the rest as well. You can definitely do that too. But you'll see that we are going again for the enemy queen and for, you know, if there's an enemy CC, of course. And then also for an air defense. So we're saying this for like a Lalo. So we're going to drop in the rage since we're going right into the queen compartment. We're putting it over the healers for the most part. So then they can get the most from this. So you'll see we will still take out that queen, even though it looked like we were going to pop the ability and stuff. But that's how you guys use wall breakers. So I want to do this one more time, just so that then it gives you guys a better example a little bit. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop in a baby dragon here. We're going to drop one in here too. Then we're going to drop in the king. That's going to establish our funnel. We're going to drop this. Once she takes some damage, we'll drop in the healers. We're going to do one test wall breaker. Once that's taken out, we can drop in the rest of them. They're going to open up that wall. Let's continue to create the funnel here. Since it's targeting onto that one, we don't really need to worry. So you'll see that once it takes that out, then we have this other baby dragon that's going to clear up that. And then now the queen can move into the base very freely. We can continue to create that funnel there. And then all we're doing realistically is just making sure that our queen can get a little bit deeper. So let's say we want to get into this town hall compartment. We've got the jump. We'll poison up the queen. Okay. We're going to pop our ability just because, you know, she was getting really low. So definitely kind of worth it. Even though we didn't really want to. This is going to be how it goes. Especially with these lower levels. But we're going to drop in the rage right here. That's going to be able to get us right into the base. And that's basically how you guys can do your charge. Of course, this is a mass baby dragon attack. So typically you're going to be doing a longer charge. But think of that as how you guys can use those wall breakers. Better example of using it. You notice how I was able to use the wall breakers. Just one test wall breaker and then sending everything in. However, there is another thing to keep in mind. So we're going to show you guys that one as well. Now, the thing that I wanted to mention in the last section, I wanted to show you guys, but I couldn't get it to work. It was just, if you're going against a multi-inferno, then what you want to do against a multi-inferno compartment. So let's say the multi-inferno is like, maybe, let's say it's right here. Let's say it's right where this bomb tower is. And you want to break into this area. Then what you want to do, let's just say for instance it is, then what we're going to do is we want to make sure that we are setting a funnel. So we are going to make sure that we can actually create a funnel here. And then what we want to do is we do want to make sure that our queen is getting into there. But we want to make sure that we're freezing it up and then dropping the wall breakers. And that's going to allow us to break in. It's not enough wall breakers because we need the rage. But that kind of gives you guys an idea of what I mean. You know, using the freeze in order to charge in is kind of the main focus I was trying to talk about there. Now, what we're going to be going ahead and talking about is using the siege machine. This is going to be your last ditch effort. So this is going to be things such as, you know, First of all, we want to create the funnel for the queen. So we're going to drop in the queen right here. Because there's not too much of the base, or there's not too much on the outside, we don't really have to think about it too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop in the siege machine, which is the wall breaker here. This is the only reliable one that you guys can rely on. And then basically you can see what I mean when I'm talking about using something like this. So let's say we want to get some more value from it, then we use a freeze. And we're going to be able to get a little bit deeper into the base. And you'll see that we were able to charge into the base with something such as the wall wrecker. And that's just a great way that you guys can actually use something like that in order to sort of break into the base. So that kind of gives you guys one unique idea. Now, another thing that you guys should probably keep in mind as well is going against single target infernos. So what we're going to be showcasing right here is just using this siege machine in order to go into a single inferno. So we're going to drop in that siege machine, drop in the queen, maybe drop in a Mecha. And basically what we're doing here is we are just making sure that we can create the funnel so that then we can actually get our siege barrack or our siege machine right into the base. So you'll see that it is going to pop due to the single inferno, which is fine, but I want to show you guys how to deal with stuff like a single target inferno when you guys are doing a queen charge. So you'll see right here, even though that the Mecha there is going to die out, how we deal with a single inferno is we don't let it go. We use a freeze spell, freezing that up. Then we also want to make sure that we're still raging up our queen, and we're just going to keep freezing it there. We want to make sure that we are keeping our queen alive. There's a lot of stuff around there, but you can see, easily got through the single inferno, even with the popped ability. So just some very, very simple things to keep in mind there. That really kind of kills two birds with one stone a little bit. But that gives you guys another really solid idea of how to charge into stuff with a siege machine like the wall wrecker, and then also how to deal with a single inferno. So, now with that being said, that gives you guys all of your fundamentals on queen charge. Hopefully that this kind of section gives you a lot of help, and if you got to this point, remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel to join the Corrupt fam. Now we're going to go ahead and move on into when and where you guys should be using a queen charge. Now, before we go ahead and move on into 3 successful attacks that you guys can try out with a queen charge, I want to quickly just show you guys what goes wrong in a queen charge. So we see a queen charge Lalo here. You'll see that the attacker isn't maxed. He still has a level 16 Grand Warden, but we're going to look at the charge primarily. So, what happens is that the eagle will take out the queen, but the attacker, what he wanted to get was a lot more than just, going into this compartment right here. Other than that, he wanted to get the CC and the queen, which he gets the CC down, but he wanted the queen to step up more. And that is kind of what kind of makes this attack go into a fail. So you'll see, again, key fundamentals here. A Coco Loon just to soak up any seeking air mines around this area. I forgot to mention that. But you'll see here, the wall breaker, one test wall breaker that goes in. Freezing up the multi-inferno, then dropping in the wall breakers, breaking his queen into the base, using the rage spell. Dealing with the enemy CC very easily, like you see right here. Not a problem. Now, that one ground expo is going to be a small issue, but it's not going to be a big issue. So you'll see that we are going to be able to, or they are going to be able to get an air defense here. However, the issue lies in the number of expos that immediately target the queen. 2 expos. And you'll notice that the queen is now moving her way this way instead of moving this direction. So, that is kind of going to be the issue and the reason to why this attack was a fail. Because you can see is that the queen had to pop her ability there, but the eagle, because it's able to hit after, because of the sort of eagle shots, and because they hit over the queen's ability, basically it takes her out very easy. Very similar to the scatter shot at Tunnel 13. But that kind of gives you guys the idea of why this attack failed. His queen was supposed to walk this way, or at least stay alive for the most part to walk this way. But that didn't happen. So that is why this attack was a failure. So we won't watch the rest of it just for the sake to sort of save this base from getting too burned. But let's go ahead and take a look at 3 different attack strategies that you guys can try out with a queen walk or a queen charge. Now you guys might be a fan of hogs here, so this is going to be queen charge mass hog. So learn all of these queen charge strategies. A lot of these can work from Town Hall 9 Plus, unless it's hybrid, and we are going to be showing that. So hybrid is the only strategy that Town Hall 9s can't use, but still learn the charge here at, specifically for those Town Hall 9s, because realistically, it's going to be really important learning how to use those wall breakers, learning how to use the spells to break in. Definitely, there's going to be a lot of really big things to understand. But from Town Hall 10 Plus, or realistically, like right here, with a hog strategy, you can do this at Town Hall 9. So really learn from the attack. Don't think of the base as literal. Make sure that you're seeing what the attacker wants to get. What does the attacker want to get? Well, he wants to get the enemy CC, queen, and possibly the king if necessary. So he wants to get those buildings down. The biggest thing in terms of using a strategy like this is not so much looking at the actual army composition or the base. It's looking at what is the attacker looking for? What is the most common thing that he's looking for? And those are going to be the 3 key objectives. Look for the objectives. Don't look at my videos thinking that, it's going to work on 99% of the bases. It's not. That is going to come down to base identification, which is something that you guys have to learn. So that's going to be the biggest thing as far as I can say here. So you'll see that what the attacker's doing, creating a funnel, but then charging in with wall breakers. Now he is going to deal with the lava hound, and this is a very easy CC to deal with, because you'll see, raging up the queen. Then he has some archers. He's going to use that to protect the healers, so you'll see this right here. Some of those healers are going to sort of, take some of those shots from it, but you'll see that the queen thinks that she's going to go in this direction, but after she takes out the archer tower, she's going to work her way back around, and then she's going to move right into the base. But you'll see that now what we're doing is we're charging our way in. Of course, Town Hall 9s don't have the siege barracks or really any siege machine, but we've got the freeze just in order to keep that queen alive away from that eagle. So you'll see that now we took out all the key objectives, and now we are able to go into the base. Grand Warden's ability a bit early, however, this is still going to allow ourselves to get a lot of value from these hog riders. So you'll see that the queen is going to continue her way around. If she has to pop her ability, let the auto ability work on its own. Make sure that you're staying focused on your hog riders, and also of course your Grand Warden too. So you'll see basically the Grand Warden, it might get shot down here, but other than that, we're clearing up a large portion of the defenses with the hog riders, and that's all it is. Super simple stuff. Very, very simple. Really doesn't take too much effort or really too much of an understanding, but super simple there. You kind of understand it there as well. Making sure that you sort of create that funnel on the other side, more so for cleanup, but also to use the hog riders in that area from that siege barrack. But that kind of gives you guys a really unique example of using the Queen Charge Hogs really at Town Hall 11, but uniquely really from Town Hall 9 Plus. So let's go and take a look at our next strategy that we have here for you guys. So the next strategy that we have here for you guys is going to be hybrid. Of course, I said it earlier, it's definitely a strategy that works really well with a charge. And we're going to be looking at this at Town Hall 12 from my good buddy Spekkie. I believe I said that right. Hopefully I said that right. But he is a fellow content creator and streamer. So I'm going to leave a link in the description to his Twitch. Feel free to give him some love. Definitely follow or subscribe to him there. I'm not sure if he has a YouTube channel, but definitely feel free to go ahead and do any of that on Twitch. Now, with that being said, we're going to showcase his attack in terms of a queen charge. We're looking at it with the hybrid. So what we're doing is we are going to be using the baby dragon. We're using 2 loons, so then we can take out the mortar. So you'll see that right here. Easy. And we're just using that as well as a cocoa loon for the baby dragon. That's going to clear up some area here. So you'll see that the queen is now going to work her way in. Notice that we're not using we're not using the king up top, but instead we're using him a little bit lower with a couple wizards. This is going to allow him to continue to move down this way while the wizards clear this building. So now the queen's working her way in. So what's the key objective here? It's going to be the enemy CC and town hall, if you can get it. It's not really super important, but of course, with that being said, the town hall is still a defense to sort of take out. But you'll see here that we have another lava hound and baby dragon CC, but we're going to easily deal with both of those very, very easily with the queen and basically, her, charging into the base. Dealing mainly with the enemy CC is going to be our main priority. Any other value we get from the charge is basically, value. But you see that what we did with the charge. We took our time. We created a funnel over here for the queen. We dropped her in here, and then she charged right in here. Notice how short that was. But then we also made sure that we closed the funnel off here because we used the king going in this direction. That's what we did. That is basically the key thing that I want you guys to memorize. Other than that, any value like the town hall, that's some easy extra value like right there. But you'll see that as we work our way through the rest of the base, making sure that we heal through, really think of this like a hog attack. We're healing through stuff like splash. We're healing through stuff such as, single target defenses. The eagle counts as a splash defense. So when we're using this, remember that you also want to make sure that you are getting some sort of value from the miners too. The miners will go for absolutely anything. So you got to create the funnel on the opposite side with the siege barracks. And like you saw right there, that siege barrack was placed there along with a couple wizards like you see there and the Mecha. That's going to offer us a lot more value. So you'll see that now that we are coming thin with hogs. But we still have the queen. Queen is still alive. We still have a lot of wizards and miners included. So we are still going to be able to clear through the rest of this section. And it's still very, very easy. And you can see how easy this really is with an attack like this. So you can see, pretty easy stuff. And this is really how you guys can use that hybrid. Now, of course, this is at Town Hall 12. And you can still try this out at Town Hall 10, 11, 12, 13. Most of this will work. Some stuff don't apply, like getting rid of the town hall, but getting rid of the CC is going to be your main key objective. So let's go and take a look at the final replay that we have here for you guys. So the last one that we're taking a look at is going to be a Queen Charge Lalo, and you guys can still try this out from Town Hall 9 all the way up to Town Hall 13, despite it being harder at Town Hall 13. This is still a great way for you guys to use this. And for Town Hall 9s, this is a super simple strategy to start off with. Of course, there's going to be some changes, of course, as you go up, but you're still looking for the same key things. You're looking to get at least an air defense. Then also you're trying to make sure that you can get the enemy CC and enemy queen down. Those are going to be your 3 key objectives. Super simple. And this can be searched on any base. So if you see that, take advantage of it. Make sure that you are getting enough value. So, what you're going to see here is that the attacker is bringing both jump and wall breakers. So what we're doing here is we are creating a funnel right here. We're going to use a test wall breaker. Notice that there was a small bomb right there. We're going to break our way into the base, and then you're going to see that the king is going to work his way down this way. Soak up any seeking air mines like you see right here. And no, this is not a cleanup attack. This was a fresh attack, I believe. And you'll see that we have a golem in the enemy CC. Now, if it was a damage CC or an electro dragon, not a problem. Golem, a little bit, not too much to worry about. It's like a lava hound. So you guys can kind of see what I mean here. Loon gets taken out by the poison, and all we have to deal with now is just those 3 golemites. Nothing too much of a problem to deal with. But you'll see that where we're entering is we are going to we're going to use a jump, and we're going to try and get rid of this eagle here. And notice that we've only gotten rid of 1 air defense, or maybe even none of those air defenses. No, we did get rid of 1 air defense. So what this gives us is we got rid of 1. We have access to 2 now. Dealing with the enemy CC, we already did that. We already dealt with the queen. And notice that we're just getting a lot of value for our charge. On top of this, we're creating funneling or pathing for the Lalo portion. So you'll see that now. Queen's going to take care of the air defense there. And now we're going to drop in our Lava Loon. Notice that we're not dropping in our Hound just yet. We're making sure that we can send everything into the base. So the Stone Summer goes in first. Balloons, balloons, balloons. Grand Warden right behind a couple groups of them. Then the Lava Hound goes in here. We're going to send in another one just in case for that one to sort of take onto. Haste right up into the air defense. Make sure that you're hasting up to those key buildings. For instance, the Wizard Towers, Multi-Infernos, Expos, and air defenses. Those are going to be really critical. So you guys can see here, we're hasting up right into the Archer Tower. Then we're going to haste up right up into the Multi-Inferno. And vice versa. You guys can see what we're doing right there. So very, very simple. That was bad wording on my part. But you guys can still see popping the Grand Warden's ability a little bit later. The Stone Summer is at like, what, half health? So easy for this attack. This was a very solid attack and showing you guys how to use this very simple attack, which is Queen Charge Lalo. I'm not sure what sort of happened to the, looking at Queen Charge Lalo as a strategy that, of course it's difficult. But I wanted to make this video in order to help you guys use this strategy and become much more effective with a Queen Charge. So, I hope that this video helped you guys a lot. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see a Lava Loon guide. Really let me know because I want to try and bring that one out to you guys. So please let me know in the comments below. But with that being said, feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to leave a like so that you guys can join the Corrupt fam. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. Feel free to also go ahead and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. All the sort of, any of my social medias are in the description with a code or with my header that is right on the side here. Feel free to also go ahead and join my Discord, which is, there's a link in the description. Feel free to also go ahead and join any of the clans that I'm covering within this game. And really, feel free to go ahead and join them if you have what it takes. Also, don't forget to leave some love onto Spekkie. He's a great streamer and content creator of good friend of mine. So definitely feel free to follow him on Twitch and subscribe to him as well if you're able to. And with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.